Good morning, gamers! How's everybody doing today? I'm Gregory. Welcome to 1 in 20 D&D, and this is going to be DnDaily number 57. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I am going to ask a question. I'm going to pose a question to everyone today. If you play Dungeons & Dragons, I'm wearing one of my favorite shirts today, my Dungeons & Dragons shirts. If you play Dungeons & Dragons, wait a minute. Before I ask that question, I should say, hey, the Kickstarter for Critical Role is up to 7.3 million and climbing. Over 53,000 backers. Wow. And as I've mentioned, it is not just going to be an animated special. It is going to be essentially a small animated series. They are they're just on a roll. They're all ecstatic and totally blown away, which is super cool. The D&D community, the critters are all phenomenal people, and there's all kinds of other great products and shows and groups out there. So I encourage you to seek them out and support them in whatever way you can. So, back to what I was saying. I have a question for you all today, and this is what I thought would be fun to talk about on this Friday. How did you get started playing D&D? What was it that contributed to the beginning of your adventure into the realm of role-playing games and Dungeons and Dragons? So my story is probably similar to others that are about the same age as I am, which is to say I'm in my mid-40s, and I've been playing for over 30 years. And some of you youngsters, or some of you folks that are new to the game, and I'm saying that, of course, with love and nothing else, some of you people that are new to fresh to the game, maybe you've only been playing a year or two or 4 or 5. Plenty of you were exposed to it through things like Critical Role. If you've started playing within the last year or two, there's a very good chance that that show, or perhaps Dice Camera Action, or one of the other streamed D&D games might have caught your attention. There's also just this general explosion all over the place, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or what have you, or just even in game stores with more and more game stores coming up and so forth, and Twitch, of course. There's a lot more opportunity to be exposed to the game. Now, I've mentioned before, when I was a child, I was interested in the cartoon, but I also used to see the games being advertised on television. Like, there was not only because when I was a kid, TV was like, that was the thing. There were no video games when I was a young kid. We just didn't have them. The Atari came out. I guess the Atari did. Okay, that's not entirely fair. There were video games, but they were nothing like they are today. We didn't have computers. We didn't have portable phone, wireless devices and cell phones and all this kind of thing. We just had what was available to us, which for the most part, for most people, was television. And, of course, friends and so forth. And there were ads. TSR actually ran ads on TV, mostly on like Saturday morning cartoon kind of stuff. And of course, there was the Dungeons and Dragons cartoons. Now, I've mentioned those are basically the primary way that I got introduced to it. I started playing with the original red box, so first edition, the red box. But here's the other one. I have a treat for you. These are my original Dragonlance Chronicles, Dragons of Autumn Twilight, Dragons of Winter Night, and Dragons of Spring Dawning. These are my original books. I've had these for 30-ish years. They were the first book, Dragons of Autumn Twilight, was first published in 1984, and I read that within the first year that it came out, as far as I remember. I was just about 10 years old. Maybe I was 11. Somewhere around 10, 11 years old. And started reading these books. And they blew my mind. I never read a book that I wanted to read before that. These are not thin. Dragons of Autumn Twilight is 400 plus pages. 445, 40, yeah, 445 pages in paperback. 445 pages. And I was like 10, 11, no more than 12 years old. I'm pretty sure I was 10 or 11. I stayed up at night with my flashlight because I really wasn't supposed to be awake, of course. You know, I was supposed to be getting sleep for school. I stayed up for a week and finished that book in record time. Before that, I couldn't stand reading. I despised reading. When I saw that and I read that, it sparked my curiosity, my love for reading now. I am a voracious reader today. Mostly I still read fantasy, sci-fi, and that kind of thing, but I also read like personal development stuff. That's important to me. Books on like meditation and self-improvement and that kind of thing. Because hey, I am a coach and counselor and certified hypnotherapist, and so, you know, it's part of the game, but it's for me. It's for me. That's why I do the mental health Mondays and so forth, because it's important to me to share that and enjoy that. But these books, like how I got exposed to the books was one of my friends in school who I had started playing D&D with, just started. I saw them at a table rolling dice and had these pencils and papers, and I'm like, what are you guys doing, homework at lunch or something? Like schoolwork during the lunchtime, during the break? Why aren't you guys outside? But it was interesting to me, and I sat down at the table like, what are you guys doing? And immediately my curiosity was sparked. I'm like, huh, D&D, okay, I that's cool. That's that thing that's on TV or whatever, right? And then I read these books because somebody had handed to me. There's one other set of books I'm going to share with you another day for one of these other DnDailies. But these books, Margaret Weiss, Tracy Hickman, these incredible, the art, okay? The art is just, it's unbelievable. The art is enough. This is Larry Elmore's beautiful cover art. I mean, he is such an iconic Dungeons and Dragons fantasy artist. Like, he set the tone. Here, I'm trying to get it in view there. That's the second one. I mean, this Larry Elmore's art set the tone. I'm sorry it's not like crystal clear. The autofocus isn't cooperating with me and the glare. But you get the idea. Go check them out online. Do a quick search. Oh my goodness. Phenomenal writing. Written by a woman, which so it had a very different tone than what much of what I might have been reading is. She has this wonderful humanistic way of expressing what the party is experiencing, and it definitely contributed to me being a gentler soul, a more, you know, how do I want to say, a much more loving, caring, more emotional man. I'm, you know, I think of myself as kind of a manly guy, I guess, on some levels, but at the same time, I am much more empathic. I'm much more, you know, open and heartfelt, connected to my feelings than a lot of guys I know. And I know those books are a big part of that because of the way she wrote the heroes of this story. They're everyday people. They are not special people. They're just average people. They have flaws. They have fears. They have they go through real experience and emotions. And excuse me. Sorry about that. And this spoke to me on a very, very deep level. And it's funny because I was listening, just this morning, I was listening to last night's Critical Role, the intro to last night's Critical Role. I haven't gotten through the whole session by any stretch because it's like 3-4 hours, so it takes me a while. I usually do it in a few little sittings. But Matthew Mercer said something about it in the fact that, you know, and he says it all the time. I've heard him say this many, many times, that in the D&D community, one of the things that's great about it, especially the critters, but also the greater community, is that there's this movement that's happening right now and has been for the last several let's call it years or so, the last few years, this empathic, loving, uplifting movement in the gaming community of Dungeons and Dragons is awesome. It makes me feel great because that's how I've been a lot of my life. And so to see that others are catching this and riding on this wave of like, yeah, like we're good people and let's be good people. Like geeks rule. Geeks are about to like rule the world, right? Because we get it. We're smart, we're intelligent, and we care for each other. That's what humanity's supposed to be all about, yo. At least in my humble opinion, okay? And then we get to play these crazy, amazing, magic users, sorcerers, fighters, thieves, rogues, whatever that, have these incredible adventures, and it's all played out in our imaginations, and we get to tell these epic stories together. It's like, it's the modern version of sitting around the campfire. We're making our own myths, people. We're making our own myths. That's incredible. I don't have anything else to say today. Wow, I'm gonna end on that high note. That thought. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna think about this over the weekend and how cool that is. Thank you for joining me today. Go out, make it a great weekend. I'll see you next time. I got some game videos about to release. I'll see you at a table someday. And until then, keep rolling 20s.